As we know, the FFA is a national organization that reaches from the state of Alaska to Puerto Rico and from the state of Maine to Hawaii. With over 630,000 FFA members enrolled in the National FFA organization, we are extremely fortunate to have this special guest take time out of his busy national officer schedule to venture to California for our state convention. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my absolute pleasure to welcome and introduce your National FFA President, hailing from the state of Georgia, Andy Paul, with his remarks titled, The Second Step.
Hey y'all, how's it going? So I can probably tell, I'm gonna clear something up real quick. I'm not from here. I'm from Georgia. I'm not a redneck. I'm just a redhead. Some people are like, yeah, you have hair. Woohoo! I'm super excited to be here in California. I'm pretty much an official Californian because in the past few days, I have had In-N-Out and Tri-Tip. No, like seriously, like in went the burger, out came joy. It was fantastic. Loved every minute of it. Before I came to California, I had a chance to go and visit my grandmama. And my grandmama is one of those like typical sweet old Southern ladies. She's also one that worries about everything. Like she literally comes up to me every time before I go over there. Andy, aren't you scared? Aren't you scared of the people? Andy, aren't you scared of traveling? Andy, aren't you scared of oxygen? And I really want to be like, no, Grandma, I'm tough. Ooh. But I'm not. I'm scared of a lot of things. Like growing up, Rafiki from The Lion King freaked me out. So we're like, yeah, you were scared of him. Woohoo. I distinctly remember I was at Disney World one time and Rafiki came up to me and I seriously looked at him, like rolled my eyes, and I was like, monkey scare me. Also scared of snakes. They don't have legs and that is not natural. Freaked out by whipped cream. It comes out of like a little tube and expands. Once again, not natural. Last thing I'm scared of, heights. Yeah, and I think the reasoning is because I'm short. Right now my driver's license says I'm 5'10". That is definitely a lie. Short always have been, always will be. Seriously, one of the worst things I could hear, I'd be in 4th grade and Miss Lee would come up to me and she'd be like, Andy, why don't you come on up to the front of the picture? We can't see you. Like, no, Miss Lee, I'm gonna stand in the back. And then I'd mosey my way to the front. Because I was so short, like everything to do with heights freaked me out. Roller coasters, ladders, staircases, all of it. Like I was able to be at the first step and be just fine. I knew where I was going, but it was those steps in between that freaked me out. And just like that, it's those second steps that may freak us out, but they can have the greatest impact on us. They can completely change our outlook on service. And once we take step after step after step after step, we have an entire mountain behind us. Now, I grew up in Georgia, and I was an avid swine showman. Any livestock showman in the house? Loved showing pigs. It was my favorite thing ever. I distinctly remember one time, all right, it was my senior year, okay? I was sitting around, we just gotten 2 new pigs, and I get a phone call from my daddy. And Daddy calls me and says, Andy, I want you to go up to the feed store and get a bale of hay. It's gonna be cold tonight, put it in the pig pen. So I say, yes, sir, not a problem. And then he says the words that every teenage guy wants to hear. You can drive my truck. Oh, I got to drive my dad's 2004 Ford F-150 in forest green. So I hop in the truck, start driving on up to the feed store, stop in there, talk to the old men in there for a little while. And they say, Andy, you know where the hay bales are at? Just go around back, pick one up. I say, yes, sir, that's not a problem. For some reason in my county, we decided to keep our hay bales in these old, sketchy, like tractor trailers. So I'm going around back, pulling on back, and there's these little wooden staircases leading up to it. Like I said, I'm in high school, so I'm completely distracted right now. I have no idea what I'm doing. 100 thoughts running through my mind, you know. I'm hungry. I want a nap. If a snake jumps out at me, I'm going to scream like a 3-year-old girl. So I go in there, climb in there, pick up the hay bale, turn around, start walking back to the truck. I can see the truck in the distance. Thoughts still running through my mind everywhere. I'm hungry. I just want to sleep. Why am I still single? Going through all this stuff. Going through all this stuff. Get the hay bale. Take the first step down. Take the second step. Completely fall on the ground. Hear this giant pop. And I think the best thing was, for some reason, as I'm falling, because I'm such a good American, I shouted out, "God bless America." Like I said, I heard something pop, freaked me out. I was like, oh gosh, I'm broke. So I look around, don't see any blood. I think I'm good. So hop up. Left foot's good. Got to my right foot. No, sir, not today. Goodbye, Felicia. We are not trying this. But being the Southern gentleman that I was, I couldn't tell anybody that I was hurt. So I decided to do one of the dumbest things I've ever done in my life. I hop. Pick up the hay bale, hop to the truck, throw the hay bale in the bed of the truck, hop to the driver's seat, somehow climb in the truck, drive home with my left foot, which is not safe. Someone's like, no. So I get home, I'm thinking, okay, maybe I just popped it real bad. It's probably not a big deal. Left foot down, right foot, no, once again. Felicia, get away from me. We're not doing this today. And so I hop up the back steps, I go inside, I see my mom, she's sitting in her recliner. I just go in there, like, Mama, do we have any Tylenol? She's like, yeah, well, what do you need it for? I was kind of like, gravity. And just like that, it was that second step that tripped me up. It was that second step on that staircase that had the greatest impact on me. What are those second steps in our lives? The first step is walk into the door of your ag class. The second step, you've all made it, deciding to join the FFA. The first step is not only seeing the people in the hallway, but recognizing them, waving to them, showing them your pearly whites. The first step is deciding that you want to start an SAE. Maybe it's just a small strawberry garden. It's one thing to go to the door, but it's a completely different thing to take a step through that door. Those second steps can have one of the greatest impact on us. And they can completely change our outlook on service. So like I said, I am from Georgia, Athens, Georgia, home of the Georgia Bulldogs. Any Bulldogs fans out here? Some were like, yeah. Some were like, stop. Huge Bulldog fan. I was doing a youth retreat in downtown Athens, all right? And we're sitting there having rec time, and my youth pastor's wife comes up to me, and she says, Andy, do you want to go talk to some people? I'm like, yeah, let's do this. So she says, okay, grab some lunches and get in the van. Okay, first off, creepiest way you can tell a kid they're about to do a project, get the food and get in the van. Like, really creepy. Like, okay, not a big deal, I'll try it out. Grab some box lunches, hop in the van, we're driving to Athens, and finally I asked her, I'm like, Trisha, what in the world are we doing right now? And she says, well, we're going to work with some homeless citizens in Athens. All right, I'm a little taken aback right now. Never really done this before, but I get to talk to somebody, and I'm thinking Andy Paul's going to do something big today. So we get to Athens, have a chance to talk to a few different people, but there was one man in particular that changed my entire outlook on service. We were just about done for the day. We had like 3 lunches left, and Trisha asked me, he said, has anybody been up there on the front street, seeing if anybody's there? I said, no, ma'am, I hadn't, but I'll go try it out. So I grabbed my box lunch, start walking over there, and I spot him. This man was very obviously homeless. All he had to him were the clothes on his back, a dog by his side, and an old beat-up guitar. So I went up to him and started talking to him. This man's name was Rick. And Rick was one of the most kind, most genuine people that I have ever met in my life. And for 10 minutes, we just carried on a conversation. It didn't matter where I was from, where he was from, where I was going, where he was going. We were just 2 folks talking. Now, I was about to leave, went up to him and said, here's this box lunch for you. He said, thank you. And then I asked him, I said, Rick, you mind if I pray with you for a second? He said, yeah, that's fine. Not a big deal. So I do. And I'm about to leave, once again thinking that Andy Paul has done something big today. And then Rick looks me dead in the eye, and he says, "Can I pray for you?" Can I pray for you? 5 words. Rick had nothing. All he had were the clothes on his back, a guitar, and a dog. I knew where I was going that evening. I was going to have a hot shower, a hot meal, a family that loved me, and Rick didn't. Yet he wanted to take the time out of his day to pray for me. Rick knew that those second steps, Rick knew that those second steps, that stepping out of his comfort zone, could change my entire outlook on service. So, of course, I said, "Rick, I don't mind. Please." So he pulls out his guitar, and he starts playing a song that he wrote called "You'll Reap What You Sow," talking about how everything that you put into this life, you'll receive. Rick took that second step of service. How does service look like for us as FFA members? You know, you started that. You joined your FFA. You joined FFA. Service is staying after class to help out your ag teacher, whether it be cleaning up the shop or just providing company. You know how we took that step and we started a small strawberry garden? Our service step is the time that we want to use our garden to feed the homeless. You know how we took that step and waved to that kid in the hallway? Our service step is taking the time out of our day to carry on a conversation with them, learn their name, their hobbies, what they enjoy. And once we take step after step after step after step, we can look behind us and realize there is an entire mountain of service. So I served as a state officer back in Georgia this past year. We'd gone through a week of training, really intense, and it was the end of the week. And so our executive secretary came up to us and he said, "All right, what do you want to do tonight? It's your fun night. You know, we can go play bowling, we can watch Netflix, or we can go play laser tag." And I'm like, "Oh, son." Like, they go, "Oh, shoot fire." So I was like, "We're going to play laser tag." And their competitive nature came out. We went over there. And so at the beginning of that day, we decided we were going to form into 2 teams. We had the A team, which was consisted of Andy, Ashton, Addie, and Abby. We thought we were clever. And then we had the other team, which was like the Jedi Council. Thought they were intimidating or something. So we put on our vests, we zipped them up. Our team was blue, their team was green, ready to go. We have our little guns in our holsters, good to go. And that's when it goes into full Hunger Games. So the buzzer challenge, we sprint in there, start shooting everything, shooting left and right. And out of the corner of my eye, I see Jackie standing over there near some barrels. Barrels, not barrels. Sorry. She's standing next to these barrels. And somebody jumps out from behind the barrels, knocks them on top of her, kill shots her, and runs away. And points are adding up, and points are adding up, and points are adding up. And you get a lot of points if you attack the base in laser tag. So I'm like, okay, I'm going to do it. So I go there, start shooting the base. And I got manhandled by a lady that came up to here. And she shot me in the back. And points added up, and points added up, and points added up. And at this point, we weren't winning it. And I was like, okay, you guys, I'm going to sacrifice myself so that our team can win. And like, okay, time out. Have y'all ever seen those movies where somebody does something really stupid and like the record scratches and people just look at them and turn the other way? Okay, so time back in. I'm ready. I'm going to sacrifice myself. Start sprinting around the laser tag arena shouting, "You can't catch me!" Literally the entire other team looks at me, looks the other way, and shoots my teammate. And points are adding up, and points are adding up, and points are adding up. At this point, we are 9 minutes into laser tag. It is getting real. And so here's 2 stories of what happened. The first one is my story. I proceed to lay myself very carefully on the ground, like so. And I'm breathing in and out really hard because oxygen is fantastic. And if anybody happens to come my way, I'm going to shoot them. My teammate's version, Andy's taking a nap. And they didn't even help me. And points are adding up, and points are adding up, and points are adding up. And at the final buzzer sounds, we go over there, we check the scores, and we see that the A team was the losers. And then so, like, my short man syndrome comes into play, and I'm automatically defending my ego, like, oh, y'all just got lucky, you know, my gun didn't work. And then they do the awful thing that friends do when they call you out on things. They're like, well, you want to play again? Yeah. Sounds great. So we get suited up again, we're going to play again. Once again, full Hunger Games style, and I'm on full alert this time. We sprint in there, and I see this figure standing on top of this barrel, and so I point my gun at him, like, turn it sideways to kill shot right at his face. And I'm like, who are you? It's the arena manager. You know the guy that's trying to keep us safe? I tried to shoot him in the face. And points add up, and points add up, and points add up. We're going at it again for 10 more minutes. We go to there, check our final score, and once again, we see that the Jedi Council, this time, they won. By a lot. And I got dead last. It was a long ride back to Athens. But once we got there, we sat in the middle of our meeting room, and we laughed for 30 minutes straight. You see, we hadn't planned on making this big ordeal, one of the greatest memories. It was those points added up, and those points added up, and those points added up. What do those steps look like? You know, we helped our ag teacher out after class. Pretty soon we decided that we want to become an ag teacher. You know that we decided to start that small strawberry garden, and we wanted to serve the homeless? That small garden has now grown to over 2 acres. You know how we waved to that kid in the hallway and said, hey, he's not our best friend. Step after step after step after step. And we've reached our goal. Number one time, I was at college, and we were leaving one of our best friends, Dream, and my best buddy, Trey, was with me. And he's looking at me, and we're walking down the hallway, and for some reason, there's just like grocery cart in the hallway. Don't know why. And so Trey looks at me and he says, you're going to get in the grocery cart. I say, no, I'm not. Trey looks at me again. He says, no, you're getting in the grocery cart. I say, no, I'm not. Next thing I know, I'm in the grocery cart, all right? And so he puts his hands on the handles, starts sprinting down the hallway, laughing. I'm yelling, pitching a fit. I'm not a happy camper at this moment. Somebody spilled milk everywhere. So we're going and we're going and we're going. He literally stops like this short from the wall because he didn't want to damage the grocery cart and not the merchandise in it. So I'm mad. I'm fuming. And he knows I'm mad. And so he starts sprinting down the hallway. And so I'm going to go after him, go out there, take one step, second step, bam, on the floor again, grocery cart on top of me, looking like a deformed Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. You know why? So I forgot to take that second step and get firmly planted. When I think about second steps, think about Rick, the man that knew that one simple act could have a huge impact. The man that knew he could take a step out for service. And the man that knew that all those little things, they would add up. California FFA, no matter where you go in this life, no matter what your goals are, never be afraid to take your second step. Thank you.
Andy, on behalf of the entire California FFA Association, we would like to thank you for your dedication and passion towards this organization. Thank you for reaching out to all of our members and for sharing with us your inspiring words about having to step out of our comfort zone, taking that second step, and reaching towards service. Please accept this as a token of our appreciation.
Thank you.
California FFA, your National FFA President, Mr. Andy Paul.